Teachers of Reddit. How easy is it to tell if a kid has a crush on somebody? And what are some entertaining stories surrounding that? Used to be a Calc 1 teaching assistant. This really smart kid kept coming up to the TAE sessions because he very obviously had a crush on a girl, who would also show up to after hours. They would both be the only two people in the sessions. When they needed homework help, I'd ask them to solve the problems together and come to me if they had any questions, while I pretended to catch up on work but actually play GTA on my laptop. Sometimes I'd overhear them talking and getting to know each other. It was cute. He sure did make my life a lot easier. I'm going to jump on this train too. So neither of us were struggling, but my AP biology teacher was probably trying to get this girl and I together. Somehow, despite assigned seating being determined by random drawings before class by the teacher herself, this girl and I were always seated next to each other. The teacher told me that our two personalities were good together, and she made a point of talking about our plans for going to prom. I don't know for sure if she was trying to get us together, but if she was, I was too dumb to figure it out until after graduation. Right now I have two kids in my first period that just don't leave each other alone. The girl constantly complains if the boy doesn't show up to school. He is always pulling on her hair or finding any excuse to touch her. He likes to play thumb wars just to hold hands. It's really cute but also annoying because they refuse to do work sometimes. I usually get them to do work by saying a very loud and annoying or what. Teaching is fun. I have this one teacher that will totally just say anything that's on her mind. One, she just flat out said, "Do you guys like each other or what?" to these two kids in my class. Within 3 days they were dating and still are. My high school teacher would change the seating chart and make her seat next to her crush if you told her, though. Her one condition was that she'd keep you seated next to your crush even if you guys broke up or stopped liking each other. Funny times. I'm more than positive my teacher shipped me and my now GF when we were in 7th grade. For some reason, 3 weeks into the school year, he moved a few people around and put this girl in front of me and we started talking pretty fast. Never got mad if we were done with work and turned around to start talking to each other. Never teased us either. He even rearranged the entire formation of desks a few times and always sat me and her together. We've stayed together through middle and high school, 10 years and counting, and are planning on getting married. Edit. Oh yeah, we're totally inviting him to our future wedding. My little brother knows his son and last I heard from him he was super happy we were still together. God, if my 8th grade math teacher was on Reddit, she'd tell a story about how she had to tell you Flynn lives. Hey moron, stop playing SimCity 2000 for a second and pay attention to the girl sitting next to you, who is literally professing her love to you. I was dumb. Teacher. It's usually easy to notice on students that are more reserved or a little troublemaker. It's amazing how a little crush can turn Johnny Never Talks into a student who raises his hand to answer every question. I currently have one who can be a handful and is not the best at personal hygiene. One day he showed up with his hairbrush and 6 bottles of Axe body spray, and that put off red flags. Sure enough, at recess I see him with a girl on the swings. Working with 6th grade, it's fun to watch this youth stage and give them crap about crushes. Work with middle school aged students. Young guy has this massive crush on a young lady his age. This kid is so obvious about it he might as well have taken out a billboard. To round it all out, he is right at the age where there is a near generational difference in maturity between the average guy and average girl. You could just see the distaste in the young lady's eyes. A look of, "Oh dear lord, you aren't even on my intellectual plane of existence, please go away." Hilarious. Oh my god, yes. We always know. The most blatant one is when a student came to me talking about how one of the girls in class kept looking at him and he couldn't focus. It's weird, and she looks like a bug. I pulled her aside to ask if she liked him, and she nodded up and down really fast and excited. I had to talk to her about not staring and she said she understood. She stopped staring, but started sitting in front of him and twerking in her seat, or dropping things and bending over to get them in front of him. They were in 6th grade. We had multiple parent-teacher conferences about it. I worked in a 4th grade room with 2 other teachers, and we had a bit of a bet all year about which of the boys, who had been stuck with the same class of girls since kindergarten, would fall in love with the new girl. We'd constantly point out signs to each other about our favorite contenders. Poor new girl was totally oblivious to all of it. I won in the end. We overheard the boy I was betting on ask her out on the last day. She told him she wasn't ready to date yet. XD. Poor boy. It's always the quiet nerdy ones. At the high school level it's really simple actually for boys, which is surprising because it never seemed that way when I was a teen. You'll see them doing everything they can to get closer to the young lady and impress her. Chemistry? Hey, Mia. I don't know this. Can we be lab partners? Algebra 1? Oh, I know the answer. Let me reach over you and show you. PE. Look how hard I can throw the dodgeball. Doesn't my strength impress you? Miscellaneous. Hey, it's track preseason. Even though we run totally different events distances, want to train together after school? Right. One time this kid had a crush on some girl. Everyone knew except her. It was hilarious to see this kid try whilst the girl didn't take a hint. You could tell because he kept looking at her from across the room. So as any great teacher would do, I moved them next to each other when I arranged the seating plan. I also put them as partners for most of the practicals. Basically the British version of assignments. Then one day this kid was walking to his seat and I heard his friend say, "He is gonna do it." I ponder to myself what's going on. Then I remember and watch in excitement. Then the kid falls on his own foot whilst approaching the girl and he smashed his nose into her chair. At least the girl noticed him and helped him. Sorry to say he ruined his chances that day. I was a Hebrew school teacher. These two kids were the smartest in their class. They knew everything backwards and forwards. They sat next to each other and would find excuses to talk, like pretending they didn't know something. Josh, she knew that you knew the Maria Veruvim by heart. Ali, he knew that you knew the prayers before and after Torah backwards. Eventually I asked the teacher, who I trained, long story there, if I could help them. I took them to another room and said, I know you both know everything, so here's some extra work to get through. Work on it together. I'll be back in the room if you need me. It was just the hard tikva, basic stuff. Last I heard they're engaged, and no wedding invite for old Shutruk. Typical Josh and Ali.